Coming up, the search continues for 5 missing U.S. Marines after their helicopter went down.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. An urgent search continues for 5 missing Marines after their helicopter went down in a remote area about an hour outside of San Diego, California. The White House says President Biden has been briefed and is keeping a close eye on search efforts. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti is at the scene.
Tonight, a desperate search for 5 missing U.S. Marines after the helicopter they were on vanished during a powerful storm. This morning, search and rescue teams located the helicopter in a remote mountain area inside the Cleveland National Forest. The condition it was found in is unclear.
The search is ongoing for the helicopter and the crew. Obviously, our hopes are of the best here.
Officials say the Marines' CH-53E helicopter took off from Creech Air Force Base near Las Vegas Tuesday evening, flying to Marine Corps Air Station in Miramar in California.
We got a call from the Marine Corps saying that they lost signal for one of their aircraft in the Pine Valley area.
Search teams launched 3 hours later when the aircraft was reported overdue and presumed to be missing.
The last known location was from a ping that was reported to our dispatch center.
This is just the latest crash involving the CH-53E aircraft, which is used to carry heavy military equipment. 4 Marines were killed in California during a routine training mission in 2018, and 12 Marines died in 2016 when the same helicopters collided during a nighttime training exercise off the coast of Oahu in Hawaii.
Like all aircraft, they do have mishaps, they do have accidents.
This flight was part of a training exercise, and tonight it's unclear why it took off in the first place. Snow, wind, and rain made for dangerous conditions. Meanwhile, tonight the search continues behind me. It was actually delayed several hours because of the weather. John Vigliotti, CBS News, Pine Valley, California.
The U.S. military says a U.S. drone strike blew up a car in Iraq today, killing a high-ranking commander of a powerful militia responsible for attacks on American troops in the region. The precision blast hit a main thoroughfare in eastern Baghdad. U.S. officials say Iraqi leaders were not notified in advance of the strike.
We are tracking some more cool and calm conditions across the region as we close out your Wednesday. Let's take a live look at those temperatures. Most of us right now in the 40s and a few 50s and 30s as well. Down to 45 in Somerset, 43 for London, 53 over in Jackson, 39 here in Hazard for Perry County. So we are chilly once again, but not as cold as last night thanks to an increase in those clouds. And as clouds increase, also a southerly wind. Those low temperatures in the upper 30s as you wake up on your Thursday. Once again, we are dry overnight, all thanks to high pressure. One more dry day on the way tomorrow, so be sure to enjoy that. Those temperatures also above average. We top out in the upper 50s and lower 60s under a partly sunny sky. Those rain chances increase by tomorrow evening, also tomorrow night, and more often on showers for the weekend, also into early next week. Also watching out for some cooler conditions as we go into next week. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. A woman who drove impaired, hitting and killing another woman in 2017 in Leslie County is sentenced to 12 years in prison. Alyssa Noble pleaded guilty to vehicular homicide, assault, and wanton endangerment. Noble hit and killed 23-year-old Paige Hayes. Hayes' family says she will continue to be remembered.
Paige's story will never end. We'll make sure that it'll continue on for years to come, and we'll make sure that she's never forgotten.
Hayes' mother, Louise Johnson, put flowers by a memorial for Paige after the sentencing. The family says they plan on holding an event in the future in honor of her. What was supposed to be a dream vacation for 2 Central Kentucky mothers turned into a nightmare. The women alleged they were sexually assaulted at a resort in the Bahamas after never being made aware of a Level 2 travel advisory issued for the country due to crime. Now they say they're sharing their traumatic story to make others aware of the possible dangers when traveling. Grayson Passmore has the story, and we want to warn you, some of the details in this story are graphic.
It was like a dream vacation until it wasn't. Then it's like a nightmare we can't wake up from.
Lifelong friends Dongayla Dobson and Amber Shearer booked a Carnival cruise to the Bahamas. They left on Thursday, but it was when they docked in Freeport on Sunday that both women say the trip took a horrific turn.
We were fine up until we weren't.
The friends say they were each offered 2 drinks by staff at a local resort. They say they had their first drink, then a few sips of the second. Then Shearer says she woke with a man on top of her.
I ran, I was screaming for Dongayla, and I seen her stumbling down the beach. And I was like, Dongayla, we've got to go get help.
Both women documented bruising down their lower bodies. They say Bahamian police were called to the scene, but the pair say they couldn't get drug tests, rape kits, or proper medical care until they were back on the Carnival cruise ship.
We were treated as if we were nothing. All they were worried about doing was clearing up their beach.
Shearer and Dobson say their drug tests show positive results for many substances, like benzos. They say their rape kits came back positive, and now they're working with American law enforcement and their own legal teams, as they allege 2 men from the resort sexually assaulted them.
We thought we were being safe. We thought we were doing all the right things. We traveled in a pair. We didn't talk to strangers. We didn't take drinks from anyone other than staff.
They're back home and both taking thousands of dollars worth of prescribed medication, including HIV prevention. Now the 2 say they want justice, sharing their traumatic story over and over to try and stop this from happening to anyone else.
These crimes, they don't just affect the women themselves, the women like Dongayla and I that are raped. They affect everybody that loves us, because we can't be loved the same after.
In Garrett County, Grayson Passmore, WKYT.
Royal Bahamas police posted on Facebook Sunday that 2 men were arrested for alleged sexual assault of 2 women earlier that day. They say active police investigations continue. A bill that would limit how many sick days teachers can cash out upon retirement cleared a Senate panel today. Senate Bill 4 limits the number of sick days teachers can accumulate per year to 10. Sponsor Jimmy Higdon says some districts allow teachers to roll over personal or emergency days from year to year, but that accumulated time is resulting in a burden on the pension fund. Teachers say having unused sick days with monetary value is an added bonus for retirement.
The sick leave program has kind of morphed into something that we didn't intend for it to be. It's a great perk, and I don't want to take that away from anyone. But we need to go back to the original intent.
And now to have that taken away when you've planned on that is a little deflating for educators when we can't get teachers to go into the profession.
The bill now goes to the Senate floor. A bill passed the House today focused on bringing grant funding to the mountains. House Bill 299 is Representative Ashley Tackett Lafferty's effort to make grant applications and information more accessible to individuals and entities in Kentucky. She says her district could benefit greatly from easily accessible information about available funding, but may not always know where to look.
HB 299 will basically create a centralized searchable database where public grant information will be reported to the Secretary of State's office, and it will be made easily accessible for individuals and other entities who want to review the grant availability.
The database would be on the Secretary of State's website and would be updated quarterly with grant offerings. We are seeing Congressman Hal Rogers for the first time since a serious car crash last month in Washington. The Dean of the House is back on the job and talked to our D.C. Bureau today. The crash in early January forced the 86-year-old congressman, who has served since 1981, to take some time to recover.
Well, it was a car accident. I was attempting to turn left to get to my condo, and this oncoming car in the other direction hit me. Totaled my car. I was very lucky, blessed as a matter of fact, to not have more serious injuries. I feel much better. I still am under doctor's care, but I'm back at work.
Congressman Rogers has returned during a busy week. Last night, a vote to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary failed, barely, but Rogers believes they will try again and be successful. A bipartisan bill to strengthen the border and provide aid for Ukraine and Israel also died in the Senate today, and it was already declared dead on arrival in the House. The fate of former President Donald Trump's attempt to return to the White House is in the hands of the U.S. Supreme Court. Tomorrow, the justices will hear arguments in Trump's appeal of a Colorado Supreme Court ruling that he's not eligible to run again for president because he violated a provision in the 14th Amendment preventing those who, quote, engaged in insurrection from holding office. Many legal observers expect the court will reverse the Colorado ruling. This week, Kentucky health officials reported that the Ohio Health Department confirmed a case of the measles in a person who lives in Ohio but traveled through the Northern Kentucky International Airport while contagious. Officials say they are working to contact people who may have been exposed, but Kentucky River District Health Director Scott Lockard says if you are vaccinated, it is 97% effective.
And our best protection is vaccination. If you've had your MMR series, then you are protected. If you do not have not ever had your MMR series, even as an adult, the CDC recommends that you do get one dose.
At this time, Lockard says the CDC is reporting that there have been no confirmed measles cases in Kentucky residents this calendar year. Fans continue to remember country music star Toby Keith. The Oklahoma native and country music icon died after a battle with cancer. Luther Deaton, the chairman, president, and CEO of Central Bank and Trust, says he met Toby years ago and became good friends. Deaton says he traveled to multiple cities to see him perform. Keith also visited Lexington to see the Breeders' Cup, even naming a horse after Deaton. He says during a dinner at Jeff Ruby's, Keith gave an impromptu 45-minute performance at the restaurant. He remembers Toby Keith as a great guy, kind and caring.
He's just a down-to-earth good guy. He cared about people. He cared about the people around him. If you was his friend, he was your friend. He's a big loss. He cared about people. When my wife was struggling with cancer back in 2018, he let me know about every week. How's she doing? How can I do anything to help?
Deaton also shared a story about Keith once surprising a fan with 4 backstage passes to his concert.
Protecting the Super Bowl, I'm Danya Backus with a look at how multiple agencies will safeguard the big game.
Plus, we are tracking one more dry day before rain chances increase. Your Thursday forecast after this break.